One take one, and we're back. It's early May, first week of May, first Friday in May, you could say. You could say that because that's what it is. And yeah, we're winding down the week, so we've opened a bottle of wine. By we, I mean me. My better half is in another room. She'll soon be hitting the bottle, I'm sure. In the meantime, I'm going to sneak this video in and make a note. Okay, so here's what I did. Another auction wine. So it's we're just going to do a single note. We'll do it fairly quickly, I think, today. Henri Boillot. If you've been watching the recent videos I've done, you know that I really appreciate his Marceaux. Generic Village Marceaux. This generic Village Puligny Montrachet was at auction, along with the Marceaux from the same vintage, 2010. I bought them both, and this one cost more, considerably more. But I wanted to try the Puligny Montrachet. He's got quite a reputation in some circles for the Pulignys rather than the Marceaux, and I really loved the Marceaux, so I thought, gotta do it. What do we got in the glass? Well, you can see the age is starting to come. The color is starting to get corn-like, go golden, and it is getting that toasted corn smell to it, without being over the top. A lovely sort of buttery and floral type of effect at the same time. Yeah, and here we're into the steeliness of Puligny for sure. A much steelier, not backbone, but more mid palate. The depth of it is far more mineral than the Marceaux is, whereas the Marceaux is a little oilier and fatter and juicier almost. This has that twang of mineral that I think it maybe it's confusing, or maybe it's just reminds people more of what minerality should be. I would argue that a little bit, but it doesn't matter. It's a lovely mid palate. It's very, I like that twang. It's like the a bow and arrow. When you loose the arrow, it's got that energetic sort of twang to it. I think there's a tinge of apple in the fruit, which I'm not super fond of, but I don't actually think it's the wine. I think it's the vintage. I've encountered this with 2010 before. I don't think 2010 is the best white wine vintage in Burgundy. Red, yeah, I'm not going to argue with anybody on that, but top-notch vintage. But white is less successful. I don't know why. It just is. It shouldn't be. This is at point. Is drinking perfectly, beautifully. It's not going to get any better. You might as well drink them if you have them. I don't think you should sit on them anymore. They're not in danger of dying, although that apple twinge sort of makes me think, perhaps you'd better be drinking these over the next few years. And still there is that, there's a caramel, like burnt sugar almost, without the sweetness, just that sort of that caramelly, sherry-like nostril scent. Almost little sexy smell going on there. A little saline, a little sea-like as well. Pretty average length, I think. Pretty average drive, very low drive even. decent persistence. I think it's not nearly as impressive as the Merceaus are, in my opinion, in terms of its presence, of its class. In terms of its flavors, I really like it. I mean, I really like it. I think it's a very good example of a Puligny in an okay vintage from a great producer. There is a toasted coconut and mint type of thing going on there. A little lower on the mint, a little higher on the toasted coconut. And that is super attractive, of course. The exotica of that and the delicious, the almost mouth-watering quality of it, but it doesn't have enough intensity for, because I often find that in some Tartare Montrachets or a Grand Cru type of flavor that it bowls you over. All your mouth is just salivating for every sip. That's not happening here. It's a bit of a tease, if you know what I mean. It's a bit making you want to go bigger, which is good. That's their intent, I suppose. But at the same time, I don't get that feeling with the Village Marceau. I always think that it's a very, very fine wine in its own right, whereas I think this is a tease of some of the bigger ones that are out there. Good or bad, yeah, it's not my place to say. In my own personal opinion, I'm still going to pursue the Marceaus more often than the Puligny. You know I like Puligny. You know I like the Le Cailleret, for instance. Quite taken with it right now. But I do love that toasted coconut butter, almost bordering on orange, sweet tangerine flavors. It's not tangerine, but it's too exotic to be lemon, very, very nice. A lovely wine, a great Friday afternoon wine, I gotta say. If you see them, they're definitely worth a try. I mean, if I see them in another vintage, I'm definitely going to try them. You should too. I'm probably going to open something else later, but I'll keep it open till tomorrow and do a note then. Until then, stay as thirsty as you possibly can. See you next time.